My name is Mike Wisniowski, and I am teaching writing for contests and nonfiction reading and debate. I've wanted to offer writing courses like these for as long as I've been a teacher, because I really feel like there is a lot of opportunity for students to learn a lot of the skills of what it takes to be a really good writer without necessarily the pressures of their language class or their English class or a classroom setting. So really, we are treating them like writers and allowing them to explore their own voices. But the contest thing allows us to have a little bit of fun with the contests that are organized by different organizations throughout the year. So it allows us to play with different styles of writing. It allows us to use short stories, poetry, nonfiction, transactional writing, and it really allows them to develop their own voice as a writer, sort of without a pressured graded setting. That being said, throughout the year, they do receive a lot of feedback from me and from their peers on their work. So they'll be able to develop their writing skills, their voice in that way. As for nonfiction reading, that came up because it actually came out from another course when we were offering in the summer from the New York Times Summer Reading Contest course. We got a great reception from that because it got a lot of our students reading nonfiction material from things like newspapers and magazines, which is something that a lot of students, especially in primary and middle school, don't necessarily engage with all the time. So it really gives students the opportunity to engage not only with current events, but also with different forms of reading and writing that are more nonfiction as opposed to the novels or other fiction-based things that they would read. I think for writing for contests, the main things I want my students to gain are a sense of what they want to write going forward. And I know they're early in their years as a writer, but everyone likes to lean one sort of way. So really developing what they like and what styles of writing they enjoy doing. Also to hopefully improve their spelling, grammar, and punctuation, because that is something that needs to be developed in any form of writing. And I think the third main takeaway is just to keep practicing different styles of writing, because there's loads of different applications, not only in school, but in real life, that can really, really help them develop. As for nonfiction reading, I'd say the main takeaways are to be able to communicate a point of view about a topic would be a main takeaway. Another one would be for students to engage in material that they are not normally used to reading, such as things from adult newspapers or even newspapers and magazines that are published for kids. And I guess the third main takeaway is to be able to engage in discourse with their peers about a topic. So not only to be able to communicate their opinion in writing, but also to be able to communicate their opinion with each other in a sort of debate or discussion setting. Yeah, I really run my classes with a lot of opportunity for question asking and for independent learning. So the way a typical lesson works with me is every lesson is based either off of a particular material or off of a particular topic that we are covering for that week, whether that relates to an overall project or it's just an activity that we're doing for the week. That's how this class is structured. But it will always begin with a little warm-up activity, so something that they can do just to situate themselves in the class, get their brains thinking about the idea of the class that we're trying to get them to understand. And then for the instruction phase of the class, I use a lot of materials. I use a lot of videos, visuals, and slides to help students understand the material. I compose them all myself as well, but they're full of questions so that the students aren't just sitting there looking at slides. They're also engaging with the material, answering these questions, and everything is very clearly put on the screen in front of them. And then in every lesson, whether that's writing for contests or nonfiction reading, students are given independent time to formulate answers, whether that's written or verbal, and they communicate those with the class either by sharing them out loud, like on video, or sharing them in the chat or as part of their homework assignments. I think for writing for contests, I think the main thing is that they'll gain much more of an appreciation for what it takes to be a good writer and what it takes to really fit what a contest, or in the future what a publisher is looking for. And that will really get them into the good practice of really putting their best work forward, whether that's for writing or any aspect of their life. As for nonfiction reading and debate, I think that just getting the students engaged with the world that they're currently living in is going to be a major life improvement, because that way they'll be more aware of what's going on in the world around them, be it something relating to science, something relating to history, or something relating to current events. That way they can be a bit more situated and also be able to talk about it with any sort of audience, be it an audience of their peers or their parents or their teachers. Um, Other than the fact that I get to nerd about language with all my students on a class by class basis, I would say the best part is just seeing how much the students improve from day one when they enter the course until the most recent time that I teach them. I've had students, for example, in previous debate classes who barely could handle being on camera and could barely be heard, to literally leading the charge for their teams in a debate setting for the question asking period. So, and for writing, I've seen students who have entered the class, for example, not really knowing what an assignment is asking of them, or not really knowing what a contest or whatever project they're engaging is asking of them. And then later on in the course, really seeing them independently tackle projects on their own and do things that they haven't even necessarily learned in the course, but are developing themselves. And that, for me, just seeing that develop in any course that I teach, that's definitely the most rewarding thing for me. I have had the privilege of being with Focus Learning for about 2 years now, and really been part of Focus Online's rise, especially with the pandemic and all of the situations surrounding that. But one of the things I've always loved about Focus Learning is that it allows students to engage with material that they are really interested in a highly academic way, but also in a way that really allows them to develop at their at more of a pace than they necessarily would in a classroom, just because they're getting that extra opportunity to learn in a new setting, to apply it in a different way, to apply it for a different reason, and to do that in a community that's really fostering. That's why I think Focused Learning is a great place to have education empowered.